in just to see how everybody is doing, just to give you a couple of updates. We are going to be doing a lot of structural changes that are coming up in the near future here. One of the goals that I am working on exclusively is building more sustainable partnerships. As a business owner, growth with what's been going on in our economy with women entrepreneurs, these things need to be addressed. So, first and foremost, I've been working with some new business owners who are just starting to branch out because either they've lost a job or they're looking for an additional stream of income. They're looking for some type of resolution. And, I always, first and foremost, believe in prayer because my total whole existence is built on, based upon prayer, because I believe prayer is a sustainable that it can help lead you and guide you no matter where you are in life. Have to be fundamentally sound and really intentional when it comes to prayer, because prayer, even in hardship, has a way of rebounding you. It has a way of giving you positioning, focus, direction, and leadership, depending on, you know, first and foremost, where you go get your word from. But I want to start out just by praying for every person who may be afflicted by hardship right now, because the thing that we personally don't plan for is things happening. And I am becoming more intentional, more strategic, not only in my life, but in my business, to be more prepared for things as they come. Um, I know that majority of the black women that I have spoken to, they did not foresee that they were going to be losing jobs. And who does? I mean, you when you get a job, you give your all to this job. You expect that job to give their all to you as well. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. I have been of the mindset, I think I probably have been either laid off or fired maybe once, twice in my whole tenure of my career, as an employee. And I made the decision years ago that I will never allow someone to put me in a situation that I had little to no control over. Now, as a self employed person, I must tell you that it is extremely hard adjusting from an income to making something possibly nothing. However, if you don't have faith in you, how do you expect other people to have faith? And so I always mention to people who are thinking about leaving their job, I tell them, first and foremost, allow your employer to be your investor. Allow your employer to be your investor. And the reason being is because it's not easy starting a business, growing a business, and sustaining a business. It's really easy to start one. Anybody can start a business. In fact, it's not free, because depending on where you live, you do have to get, if you're going to set your business up right for success, you want to make sure it is registered. You got a corporation or LLC, whatever you're going to do. There's several business structures that you can follow. You really have to go with the one that's best for you and your business to see if it is a fit for what you like to do. Sole proprietor is probably the only one that, if I would tell somebody if they're starting a business, not to start a sole proprietor. And again, it depends on the type of business that you're operating based upon the structure. And, get with someone, if you're not familiar with that, get with someone that can possibly assist you in setting it up. I do small business consultations all the time. I will share with you what I know and what I have done. And then if there's something outside of that from a legal perspective, I can lead and guide you to an attorney that will be able to assist on that behalf. But it's not difficult to set up a business. What is difficult is running that business, maintaining that business, and being successful in that business. And so lately, we've been actually holding little small symposiums, and I'm getting ready to go vocal with them very soon, in helping people transition from corporate America into entrepreneurship. And it sounds very easy. But what I have learned in speaking with small business owners, and even being a small business owner myself, is not simple as it seems. And a lot of times on social media, you will hear people, oh, you just have to do this, you just have to do that. This is simple, this is easy. Listen, from experience, I've been a business owner over 30 years and I failed many times. I have not been successful many times. I've also been successful many times. And I appreciate the failures that I've had because it taught me how to succeed. In life, sometimes you have to fail in order to succeed. And with so many Black women losing jobs, with the economy the way it is, I suggest you take that experience that you have. I suggest you take what you have learned, been educated on, to take that and utilize it to build your future. Because, see, nobody is responsible for building your future except you. Yes, we get a job, we get a 401k, we get benefits, life insurance, health insurance, and all of that. And we think that stuff is going to be around for a long time. Nobody expects to lose their job. Nobody expects to lose their job. Unfortunately, it happens at the most inopportune time. It happens at the most opportune time. Raheem, that is a very, I'm not even going to entertain that right now. But anywho, yeah, ain't they nice? Ain't they cute? But most people lose their job at the most inopportune time. They lose it when they got bills to pay. They lose it when they need money and income. Hey Taj, how you doing? Tajay. The thing is that we have to be prepared, because in preparation, what you will find is that anything happens, you're ready for it. And I know, me personally, I fail sometimes at preparation. Sometimes I just like to wing it. And in business, sometimes you have to be that way. In life, sometimes you have to be that way. But one thing that separates me from anybody that I work with is that I'm always mentally prepared to move forward. I'm not afraid to take a risk, a challenge. I'm not even afraid of failure, and fear has limited many people from succeeding. Fear has limited many people from succeeding, and opinions from other people has limited people from succeeding. Most of the time people are afraid of what's going on in their life. I was talking to someone the other day that their marriage is not working. And they were so worried of what their parents is going to say versus what and how they feel. Now I'm an advocate of marriage. I truly believe in marriage. I've been married myself 30 years. However, what I don't believe is somebody should be unhappy in a situation. I don't believe somebody should be beaten in a situation, in a relationship. I don't believe somebody should even be broke. But I do believe in working on marriage, because marriage is not overnight, just like business success is not overnight. You got to work on things in order to perfect them. And if you are not prepared to work on these things to perfect them, then you've already failed. So failure should never be your first option. What you should work on is trying to build the strength of endurance, because the strength of endurance will carry you where fear and lack of confidence will never take you. So as a business owner, like I said, my greatest struggle is always trying to figure out how to stay consistent. I mean, I run businesses, and I've had six-figure businesses, still do, but it's so many things that you want to do. You just need to know the direction and the purpose and how to get there. And I truly believe that always hiring a professional, to help you get to where it is you're trying to go. Most people try to wing it and do it on their own. And when they wing it and try to do it on their own, what they find out is that they end up failing. And then when they fail, they don't want to do it anymore. And unfortunately, as I stated, if you go into something with the anticipation of fearing that you're going to fail, the chances of you failing are probably true. You can't be led by fear. You can't be led by misinformation. You can't be led by doubt. You have to set it up in your mind. You have to condition yourself, your mindset, to believe that you can achieve whatever you set out for. And so in this season of my life at 56, I'm being more intentional about who I spend my time with, who I listen to, who I accept advice from, who I allow to come into my space. because when you just allow anybody to come in, when you're not being intentional or prepared for the people that you choose to have around you, you end up getting caught up in situations that don't benefit you. And so, in this season, if you're thinking about starting a business, I suggest that you put a pen to paper. That's how ideas begin. And first and foremost, I always tell people pray about it before you move about it. Because when you pray about it, it will give you direction. When you put it on paper, it gives you focus and it gives you accountability. And then when you move with intention, grace, and when you move with a decision that you're going to be successful, there's nothing that can stop you but you. But you have to be ready and willing for objections to come your way. You have to be ready and know that objections will come your way. But how you stand up to those objections will change everything. So you don't have to be faced with a trajectory that this is how it's supposed to happen, especially when you position your life to happen as God has ordained it to be. In the word of God, it says that we shall all be abundant. We should follow him. We should move with direction, intention, and grace through him. Believe in yourself, because when you believe in yourself, no matter what anybody else says, doesn't matter. All right. So thank you for tuning in. My name is Nichelle. I appreciate you being a part of my space. This is the Startup CEO. If you're not connected with me, if you're just coming in, go ahead and look at some of my other videos. I post everything about lifestyle, business, family, relationships, real estate, travel, cooking, all of that. And my whole lifestyle is my family. My whole business is my family. And my whole idea about what God has for me is about intention. Okay. And so thanks again for being here. Blessings and peace. I look forward to joining you again next time. Take care and make sure you have a magnificent day on purpose. Talk to you soon. Blessings and peace.